Lang and Lit. Today I have come up with a new chapter from the book of Flamingo, and that is Deep Water by William Douglas. Today I want to ask you one question, and that is, are you fearful of something? क्या आप किसी चीज से डरते हैं? मैं आपको 5 सेकेंड देती हूँ उस बारे में सोचने के लिए जिस चीज से आप डरते हैं। आ गया ना कोई डर आपके सामने। शायद वो बचपन की ऐसी कोई बात हो जिसको आप नहीं चाहते कि दोबारा आपकी लाइफ में कभी हो। आप दोबारा उस सिचुएशन में फंसना नहीं चाहते। जो लोगों ने आपके साथ कुछ करा है आप उनसे मिलना नहीं चाहते। इस तरह का कोई ना कोई डर हमारी लाइफ में होता है, लेकिन उसे टैकल कैसे करें, उस चीज को ओवरकम कैसे करें, वो हमें नहीं पता। लेकिन विलियम डगलस ने इस चैप्टर में इस बात को आंसर करा है कि अगर आपके मन में कोई भी ऐसा डर है जिसको आप ओवरकम नहीं कर पाते, तो उसे ओवरकम कैसे करना है, उस डर को हैंडल कैसे करना है, उस डर को डिफीट कैसे करना है, यही थीम है इस चैप्टर की। बिफोर आई स्टार्ट द डिटेल डिस्कशन ऑन दिस चैप्टर, आई वॉन्ट यू टू सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल, एंड इफ यू लाइक दिस वीडियो, don't forget to press that like button. So let's begin with the author. The author of this chapter is William Douglas. He was born and brought up in Maine, Minnesota. Then he did his Bachelor's of Arts in the subjects of English and Economics. Then he was a professor at Yakima. William Douglas in his lifetime met President Franklin D. Roosevelt and became his advisor and friend. He also served as the justice, and that too for a long period of 36 years. This chapter, Deep Water, is an excerpt from Men and Mountains. The chapter, Deep Water, is autobiographical, and William Douglas over here talks in first person, and he tells us and shares with us an experience which he had when he was a little child. The author in this chapter shares with the readers his experience and his fear with water. What happened in his life that he became so fearful of going into water and doing any water sports. His first experience with water was the time when he went with his father to a beach at California. He was there with his father enjoying the tides, and he was having a happy time. But what happened was that after a time there was a high tide which swept this little boy who was just 3 or 4 years old at that time, and it made him roll over in water, and that made him fearful. He was holding the hand of this father and there was no chance of his drowning. His father was there at his safeguard, so nothing happened, but an aversion to water, a sense of fear to be in water entered into William Douglas in a minor degree. William Douglas tells the readers that he is really fond of water sports and he does not want to be fearful of water and he is going to learn swimming. He thought about the Yakima River which was nearby, but his mother always warned him that Yakima River was very dangerous and he should not go over there because it was too deep, and she always used to share with him the incidents where the people have actually drowned in the Yakima River. So he was fearful, and he thought that the better way or the best way he could do swimming will be that he is going to go to the pool at YMCA. This idea would be better as compared to going to the dangerous Yakima River. And he had known about the YMCA pool that it was just 2 to 3 feet deep at the shallow end, but it was 9 feet deep at the other end. So this little boy with lot of excitement went to the YMCA pool, but he was a bit shy. He did not want to go into the water in front of everybody. So he kept waiting at the pool, and when most of the people left the swimming area, that was the time he wanted to enter. But by then he saw that there was a teenager, and this was this big burly boy. He had too much of muscles. He was tall as compared to this little boy, and he was mischievous. Obviously, what he did was he grabbed little William and just tossed him into the swimming pool, and that too at the deeper end. He was just a boy of 4 or 5 feet of height, and he was thrown into the water which was 9 feet deep. He did not know how to swim, and as he was thrown into the pool, he went straight down to the bottom of the pool. He started drowning and he swallowed so much of water. Now William Douglas tells us that when he was there inside the water, he was feeling stark terror. It struck him. He could not move. He could not ask for help. He could not shout because he was so much under the water. His voice was not able to come out. While he was in water, he made a plan that when he'll touch the bottom of the pool, what he'll do is he is going to push himself up with full force of his body and try to reach the surface of the water. And he did the same. He got all his guts together and just went down in the pool, touched the bottom of the pool with full force of his body. He tried to push himself upwards. He did that and he was almost near the surface of the water, but he could not actually breathe air. And then again he started drowning because he was not knowing how to swim. He thought that when again I am going to go at the bottom of the pool, again I'll do the same thing, I'll push myself up. If not at the first attempt, he thought that he was hopeful that he's going to make it in the second attempt. Again when he went down, but now we all know that when we are underwater, the water creates its pressure. So first time he had more of energy, but in the second attempt he had a lesser amount of energy, but didn't give up and he tried to just push back and rush back towards the surface of the water. Again nothing happened. He did not even reach this time to the surface and a lot of water was swallowed by him. All his eyes, ears and nose were filled with water. Now the second attempt actually proved to be a waste of energy. Again that terror, that fear struck him and he could not even move in that water anymore. But still, after the second attempt, he did not give up. He thought, now next time also I'll do the same thing. But then again, when he charged up to move towards the surface, he did not have much energy. He could not do anything by them. And he was already swallowed so much of water, so he could not do anything. He did not have that much of energy even to just move up. And ultimately, he failed to rise up in that water and ultimately became totally panicked. And then what happened was his limbs were not having any energy or any strength left. He ceased, he stopped making any effort. We all know that how people drown. That is the time when you are so tired of just struggling with water to come up and you fail. At one point of time, what happens? Your body gives up. And that was the time when the body of William Douglas has actually given up and he had no strength left to again rise up. He ceased all efforts. He did not do anything. He just kept lying and let his body get down and down into the water. The author shares with the readers that when after the third attempt he could not do anything, he stopped making an effort because there was no strength left in his body. There was no energy left in him. So he completely stopped all his attempts, and then what happened was that suddenly everything went dark. He tells us that in the pool there was nothing visible. It all became dark. He actually crossed the oblivion. That means he forgot about his pain. He forgot about the trauma. He forgot about that panic. He was completely in peace. This peace was not the peace of happiness, but this peace was actually when you totally give up. You don't want to do anything because you feel so much defeated by the situation and you lose all hope. That sort of a peace, or you can say tranquility, came upon William Douglas. He did not think of life again. What he was thinking that it might be that he will die, and he actually had nearly died in that incident. But something happened when he opened his eyes. He saw that he was by the poolside sitting and he was vomiting at that time, and by somehow he got to know that the trainer at the swimming pool has saved his life, and the burly boy was also standing over there and he was being railed by, he was being scolded by the trainer to throw that little boy into the pool. And this burly boy said that it was just fun. It was a joke he did with the little boy, but that little boy, it has costed him his life, or you can say that it has costed him a trauma of lifetime. After that incident, we see that for weeks and weeks, for months and months, William Douglas could not do even his simplest of daily chores, and he was not able to make his mind that strong that he could again go to do any water sports or go even near to any water body. He was so fearful. He was totally traumatized, tormented by the experience which he had. He shares with his readers that he was really fond of swimming, of going for fishing, canoeing and boating. But because of this event and the fear he had of water, he could not do all this. So at one point of time in his life, he decided that I have to do something of this fear, and he decided that he will have an instructor and then learn swimming. विलियम डगलस ने ये रेजोल्यूशन बना लिया कि अब मैं इस फियर को अपने ऊपर जीतने नहीं दूंगा, और जो भी मैं लाइफ में करना चाहता हूँ इस एक फियर की वजह से मैं उन सारी चीजों को लाइफ भर ना करूं, ऐसा नहीं होने दूंगा. तो उन्होंने डिसाइड करा दैट ही इज गोइंग टू हैव द इंस्ट्रक्टर हु इज गोइंग टू मेक हिम लर्न स्विमिंग, एंड सो ही डिड दैट. And then he got this instructor and he trained him piece by piece. एक एक करके उन्होंने सारी चीजें उनको सिखाई. When William Douglas began his training of swimming, he was practicing for 5 days a week. And what he used to do was, his training started with swimming in the pool. And what his trainer did was that he had a belt and which was tied on the waist of William Douglas, and there was a rope which was attached to that belt, and the trainer used to hold that rope. He was in phobia of water. So to take away that fear, to take away that phobia, first he had to walk in water. So for the first few weeks, what the trainer did was, he used to tie him with that rope, hold that rope at one end, and ask William Douglas to just move in water, to just walk in water. And that was done for weeks and weeks. Then the trainer taught him how to inhale and exhale underneath the water. So step by step, all the things were taught by the instructor to William Douglas. And William Douglas was a hard-working person. He actually was determined to overcome his fear. So he kept on working harder and harder. He put in all his efforts. He never slacked away. He never gave up any of the trainings which his instructor has told him to do. So he was also pushing himself to his limits, and this instructor was also making each and every effort to make William Douglas into a good swimmer. And all this hard work, dedication paid off. And at one day, what happened was that William Douglas was all set and all ready to go into water, whether it was river or a lake, to swim without any fear. But as we all know that when we learn to do something, it seems easy. But when we come to the real life situation, जब हम उसको अपनी लाइफ में प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू करते हैं, तो फिर से वो डर हमारे अंदर आ जाता है. The same happened with William Douglas. When he went to swim in the river, he was again panic stricken. Little strikes of fear used to come to him and tell him that you will be drowned, or you are not going to come alive out of this water. What he did was that he started talking back to his fear that no, whatever you are saying that I am not going to swim, I won't be able to swim, I will get drowned, all this is a lie, and I am going to fight with my fear head on, and I am going to defeat it. He started talking back to his fear like a warrior. He stood against the fear, and that is what William Douglas tells his reader, that we also need to be like a warrior. We need to stand in front of our fears, face them head on, no need to run away from it. Face it head on, and that is the time when your fear is going to run away from you. One day William Douglas went to Wentworth, a lake in Hampshire, and at that time again that terror of water struck him. But this time William Douglas talked back to him. He challenged the fear, and as soon as he challenged his fear and made the move, the fear flew away, and he swam in that lake for 2 miles at one go. Then William Douglas also tells us that he went to swimming in the rough waters of the Mead Glacier even. He overcame his fear, he defeated his fear just doing one thing, that he made a strategy and just struck off that fear, coming face to face with that fear, fighting that fear, challenging that fear and defeating it. William Douglas, with this chapter, which is autobiographical, he tells us that there are certain points of realization which he went through when he had this experience of drowning in water, struggling to save his life, and then again coming with a strategy to overcome his fear. He realized certain gems of life, and what are they? The first thing he shares with us is there is peace in death. We are fearful of death, but actually when death comes, it becomes tranquil, it becomes quiet, it is all peaceful. There is nothing horrifying in depth. The second thing and the most important thing he told us was that we need to live a free life. A free life is a life which is free of all fear. If we have to live our life to its fullest, if we want to enjoy our life, अगर हम अपनी लाइफ को पूरी तरह से enjoy करना चाहते हैं, पूरी तरह से जीना चाहते हैं, तो हमें हर तरह के डर को हराना होगा. This is what he realized, that want to live a victorious life, we need to defeat every fear. And the third key point which he tells us, and a very interesting one which he tells us, is that if in life we have to fear anything, that is fear itself. हमें किसी चीज से अगर डरना है तो किसी भी डर से डरना है. He says that if there is something we need to remove from our lives, is that we have to remove that fear, the element of fear, that terror which we have for things, which we have for experiences. We need to shun them off. We need to completely destroy them to live a life of joy and freedom. Coming to the theme presents the fear of William Douglas and how he eventually overcomes that fear. He says over there that with determination, with willpower, with a bold attitude, with courage, we can actually overcome any fear. We need to defeat fear, and fear is the only thing we need to fear in our lives. We should never be obstructed in our growth because of fear. Now let's talk about some of the attributes of the character of William Douglas. William Douglas is the central character and he is the narrator of the story. From the very first introduction of ours to William Douglas, we come to know that he is adventurous in spirit. He likes adventure. He says over there that he likes swimming, he wants to go for fishing, he wants to go for boating and canoeing. So we know that he is of the adventurous spirit. He has zest for life. He is enthusiastic about life. He wants to do things in life and he wants to accomplish certain goals in his life, and for which he is very determined. We see that he is very determined, even courageous and bold to actually go for what he wishes in life. An attribute to admire in William Douglas and even to get inspired from him is that he had an indomitable spirit to overcome anything which he fears in life. He was never frightened with any of the challenges. He used to come head on with those challenges, face them, rebuke them, and overcome all the difficulties in his life, all the fears in his life. So this was the explanation of Deepwater by me. If you like this video, don't forget to press that like button, and if you have yet not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, because this channel offers you quality content and a wide range of topics related to English. So till the time we meet next, happy learning, be safe, take good care of yourself.